Oh, y'all want another video?
Zamwinya, Matty and Mar. It's the Mat&Mar Show once again. Episode 8, part 2. Don't know the rest of the song, but we're gonna make it up along this route. See how I rhymed it with the T at the end? I'm trying my best to make it all again. It's the Mat&Mar Show. Again. Boop. So, this is part 2 of episode 8 of this show that we're doing. We're just going to go ahead and jump right into it because, honey, that last one was a key.
Woo!
And now we're going on to this one.
I want y'all to realize that we're recording 3 videos in one night.
In one night. We did. Dedication.
We love y'all.
Okay. Oh, so the first one is Nefertiti thoughts. I know where this is going. Hey, Matt and Mar. In February on the Today Show, they showed the new bust of Nefertiti. No, they didn't. Of Nefertiti. They showed Beth with a hat on. The new bust of Nefertiti, the pharaoh of Kemet, Egypt. I hope I said that right with Kemet. Ever since many videos on YouTube on this topic. God, I want your guys' opinion. I personally was not for it. That white mother Tucker who reveals this new image of the icon got me infuriated. This is not what the historic stuff looked like. I am an avid fan of Nefertiti. I'll send you some links and let me know what you think. Love you both. Keep up the good work. Thank you. We weren't for it either.
I saw that. I'm like, y'all are... So you mean to tell me...
Girl, Kanye West could have unveiled that.
After hundreds of years, after an understanding that this person was black, all of a sudden, you want me to believe that they're white? And they're the only white person involved in this situation?
Not even that. They're basically implicating that Egypt had more influences from Europe.
No.
Than any African roots of any sort.
No.
Or any Middle Eastern roots of that matter, for that matter. Like, just...
I feel like evolution has showed that everybody just evolved from African features and based off their environment, developed the features that they have now.
There is no amount of cheeseburgers, milkshakes, or fries that could be sold to me to tell me that that is who Nefertiti was and what she looked like.
Nope.
It was an embarrassment. It was disrespectful. And it was expected.
I'm like,
I was ashamed for the Today Show.
I was ashamed. I'm like,
I couldn't even believe that they had that even, like, I forget who the broadcasters were that were talking about it when it was unveiled, but I would, no.
What the tuck is this?
No. I'd have walked off the set. I'd have been like, there's no way you're going to have me sit here and be like, oh, that's what she looked like? I'd have been laughing the entire time. Like, y'all are a trip. Y'all a trip, though.
I can only imagine being in the audience like,
Disrespectful.
Okay. So this one is titled, Can I Ask You a Question? In my Alaska voice. They wrote it like that, so I had to do it. Hi, Matt and Jamar. I don't know if you want me to keep you anonymous or not, so I'm going to call you Ricky. I've been watching you guys for a while, and I live for the Drag Race reviews and the amazing advice that you bless us with weekly. Your videos are the only thing that get me through my final exams. Here's my question. How do you feel about the girls from Dragula being on Rupaul's Drag Race? Are there any girls in particular that you like to see more of, or do you think they should stay separated? Personally, I think Melissa B. Fierce, Kendra Onyx, Victoria Elizabeth Black, and Loris will be amazing on Drag Race. Love you guys so much and still waiting on the Mat&Mar t-shirts. Sending love from the UK.
If you know anyone that makes t-shirts,
let us know.
Exactly.
Well, this is his lane. I hadn't watched Dragula.
Yeah, so I'll speak on my whatever I was gonna say. I'll speak on behalf of this. So I just told Jamar this the other day. I said, what would be interesting is if there were Dragula girls who got on the show and competed, or if they even did like, not on All Stars necessarily, because no one would know who they are and they would feel some kind of way. It's like, okay, why are they on RuPaul's Drag Race All Stars if they won, like Victor Von Odd and Bitch Pudding? But I think it would be interesting to see someone like Bitch Pudding come to the Drag Race scene, who was a winner of Dragula, as having that underneath their belt and being like, I'm going to compete with the other girls and see how this goes down. And the Boulet brothers would be great guest judges on the show, in my opinion. And they could have a really good filth runway one time. Now, the people who you gave should be on the show. 2 of them I agree with, and the other 2 I don't, and you can figure it out from there, because I'm not going to be that shady. You should already know by the things that I say, and if you watch my Dragula reviews, who I think should be on there. And one of them, I don't know how you think that girl could have been on there, because she was only good for Untucked. Okay? She'd only be good for Untucked. Only one of them. And I think you know who I'm talking about. But no, I would let Melissa B. Fierce would be great. I think James Majesty would be excellent on Drag Race, because she can bring that drama, girl. It would be a cackle to see her in Untucked trying to get somebody together and then someone reading her for filth, etc., etc. But just her looks alone outside of the drama would be great. I think Victoria Black would be great too, but she would have to do... She does really good filth, but her glam would be extravagant. It's just a lot of girls from that show who could do glam that I think would be really great on the show, but it depends on if they don't want their brand anymore to necessarily be filth. I think Erica Clash would be great on Drag Race too, because she brings the anime pop culture references and very manga girl. She's very Harajuku Barbie. She's all of that. But yeah, the girls would have to realize that this is not a Boulet Brothers competition. They don't have to stab themselves nearly to death just to make it to the next episode. This is now a lip sync number. They're going to have to turn about, work, tip, do all that type of stuff. So it would be interesting. I think there should be 2 girls from Dragula on the next season. I think that would be an interesting shakeup. I think it would be a great way of introducing new people into the competition, as well as people from the UK and Australia and et cetera, all over different countries, to make it an international thing, whatever they can do. I think so. I think it would be great. There's my answer.
You can look at it like it's a preliminary to a pageant. It doesn't have to be separate, because it's not like they're under a competing company or something.
They're in the same company. Okay. Her story repeats itself.
It's a doozy.
Firstly, you may recognize me as I've emailed you before, but just getting some of that stuff off my chest really helped me out. I'm practicing PMA and FUs to those who don't like it. Obviously, very eloquent FUs. What is PMA? Did we ever figure that out?
No.
In the comments, please.
Let us know if you want to reveal who you are. What is PMA?
Again? I can't remember. Especially if it's something I said, child. I'd just be talking. Secondly, really great stuff on the Mat&Mar Show, and I think I prefer them to your exquisite Drag Race reviews because of your honest and helpful advice. It's really helpful for a 15-year-old gay male, an aspiring drag queen who struggles with anxiety and struggles with body image. You are loved. Secondly, the story that's probably too long. Get comfortable for this one, because it's 5 years in the making. Jeez.
Okay, let's
in the making. So you were 10 when it started? Okay. It starts 5 years ago. Yeah, he was 10 when I started high school, and I'm British. So I'm doing my exams this year. Sorry.
I was about to say, we were really about to go.
One of the first people I met was a girl who shall we call Betty. And me and Betty get along with like 2 peas in a pod, and always made each other laugh. And although I'm very popular, not cool, just everybody likes me, we always stuck by each other and always had each other's back. About 3 years ago, a new girl we'll call Rebecca joined and was instantly assimilated into our group, and we're unstoppable. I sound like Chris Hemsworth doing Thor. I'm gonna stop.
So you start there, but you go all the way to Australian accent as you go.
Because, guess what? There you go. All right, that's my accent. It's called Australian. Australian. It goes from the UK all the way to, that's not a knife, this is a knife. Oh
dear Lord, okay.
However, about 2 years ago, Betty started to be a bitch about Rebecca, petty high school stuff, and I decided that I would stay neutral, as at the time I didn't really stand up for myself and hated conflict. Once Rebecca found out, the two parted ways and since have grown to hate each other more and more, to the point that they can barely be in the same room together. At first, I managed to stay friends with both of them, and then Betty started to distance herself from me and got into a rough crowd, including getting involved with boys that treated her disgustingly and friends who dropped her as soon as they got bored. She has a good body, she probably looks cute, and she ended up having low self-esteem, and she went with the wrong crowd. I already called it. I tried to reach out, but she started to despise me too, believing that I had chosen Rebecca over her. Maybe it's mean, but I just stopped talking to her and decided I didn't need that in my life. Me and Rebecca love each other, no hetero. And she got me into anime whilst I got her into Drag Race. Thank you, and you're welcome. No, tell that to RuPaul, girl. They ain't sending me checks just yet, but okay. You go to cons. Oh, we go to cons together, and she put me in drag for the first time. We both love makeup and enjoy hanging out with other fabulous people who we usually seek out by shouting, Miss Vanjie, in a crowded room. 2 weeks ago, Betty started talking to me again, and almost immediately we fell back into how we used to be, although I was a little wary. She wanted to talk to me privately, and I discovered that not only did she have no friends left, but someone in class was constantly objectifying her, touching her inappropriately, and refused to stop. She felt trapped and alone. She wants us to be like we used to, and I've started to hang out with her again, and Rebecca is totally fine with it, but warns me to be careful. I've already noticed she is jealous whenever I hang out with Rebecca and wants me to do everything with her and gets tucked off when... Oh, ticked off. I don't know why you did tucked for that. Ticked off when I decline or can't make it. I don't know what to do. I don't want to bring it up because she's going through some shit. YouTube. But I can't hang out with her all the time. Additionally, I'm leaving in 2 months to go to the same college as Rebecca, and this will undoubtedly make things even worse. Help. Lots of love, little Caucasian boy in drag.
Betty's petty. She is a literal petty Betty. And
this is so high school.
You just drop her like a rock.
This is so high school. This is so
drop her like a rock.
High school.
At least he knows it's high school.
This is so petty. Girl, hang with the friend that is not giving you any trouble. If the other girl's giving you trouble,
because at least Rebecca's like, okay, me and her fell out, but if y'all gonna be friends, just be careful with what you're doing. Homegirl Betty is like, you don't need to be talking to her.
You're not
you
responsible
just spend all your time with
for
me.
her. Yeah,
no.
You're not responsible. No, you're not. You're not responsible for her. You're not responsible for that child.
Tuck her.
Yeah, leave her the tuck alone. Forget her tucking feelings and leave her the tuck alone.
Okay.
Rude itch.
That's what we're gonna use now. Cause I haven't found a
tuck that itch.
Okay. Actually, that could be a real statement.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
All right.
For the girls who have to tuck their itches. I laughed at myself for that one. Okay, continue, Jamar.
I was about to go somewhere else. This was called Crushed, Angry, and Stuck. Dear Matty and Jamar, first off, I want to let you know how much I love and appreciate your content. I look forward to your Drag Race reviews immediately after the show has aired, and I'm also a fan of your Q&A segments. Your humor, wit, and empathy come through in every episode, as well as the beauty of each of your spirits, and I look forward to watching each week.
Thanks,
Thank you, baby.
I'm glad you can see that. Shade to everybody else.
As a 51-year-old woman, a straight woman, I realize I am not your traditional target audience, but I was fortunate in my youth to be surrounded by a large group of gay men, so I have been a strong ally of the LGBTQ plus community since the early 80s. Shout out to you, boo.
Go on, sis.
I should preface my story by telling you that I lost my entire family by the time I was 17. My sister died when I was 14, my mother died when I was 16, and my father died 5 months after my mother. I have no words.
If I could sing you a song.
There's nothing that I could say to even come close to consoling what that may have been like as a 16-year-old. Bless you.
Bring it in. Oof, okay.
Because of this, I have been fiercely attached to my close friends as they were the only family I have left. As you can imagine, living through the 80s and 90s deep in the trenches of the gay community came with a tremendous loss and heartache. During the 2 decades of what I refer to as the gay Holocaust, aka the AIDS crisis, we buried everyone in our group little by little. So many young, beautiful, talented gay men were gone in an instant. I don't think the children today can fully appreciate what an absolute death sentence the diagnosis was.
No, they cannot.
There were no drug cocktails, no tales of people living for decades of disease, and most people infected long before safe sex became a way of the world.
No Buyers Dallas Club, honey. None of that. And y'all need to watch that movie, by the way.
All right.
It's very important.
Miraculously, my very best friend, I'll call him Jay, made it through unscathed. A big reason for that was that he didn't come out until his very late 20s and remained asexual during the years he wrestled to come to terms with his true self. Once he opened up to me with his truth, I accepted him fully, but tearfully begged him to promise me that he would always be careful sexually because I didn't want to lose him. Decades went by, I moved to Dallas and Jay stayed in LA, but we always remained close and I went home often to visit. Fast forward to about 2 years ago when I got a phone call out of the blue that Jay is in the hospital and in intensive care and has 2 to 3 weeks to live. He was in the very advanced stages of AIDS. Apparently he had been diagnosed with HIV. He'd been diagnosed HIV positive back in 2006 and never told anyone. Not me, not his only remaining sibling, no one. Not even when the disease progressed to full-blown AIDS. Part of his self-denial also included not admitting it to himself, so he never sought medical treatment either. He died 3 days after I got the call.
Ooh,
I didn't even have a chance to get to LA in time to say goodbye. Needless to say, I was devastated. My problem is that I'm so angry with him. It's almost been 2 years and I'm just so very angry. Yes, I'm heartbroken and crushed and my soul feels gutted at the loss of him, but I'm having a tremendously difficult time processing my grief because of the intense anger I still feel. Anger at him not telling anyone, anger at him not seeking medical attention, anger at him just silently giving up. But mostly anger that he let it happen. I know it's wrong, but deep in my heart, I feel like, damn it, Jay, you made it through the hell that was the 80s and the 90s just to completely be careless with your body in 2006? What in the hell is wrong with you? How can I process my grief, let go of the anger, and move on to cherish his memory in a positive way? Any advice you can give will be deeply appreciated. Obviously, with my history, I'm a person who has managed to deal with grief and constructively move on with my life in a meaningful way, but this time, I seem to be stuck. Thank you so much for your patient understanding. I love seeing bright, beautiful, gay young men living so freely and happily in the truth, and watching the two of you lift my spirit. Love you both.
Love you too. You're not gonna, you can't hold on to that, baby.
Because that kind of diagnosis, every person deals with it a different way. And because it was such a negative stigma.
That wasn't your fight.
They're very hesitant to trust people with that kind of information. And once you tell somebody, it's still a stigma now.
Out there. It's still a stigma now. Don't let anybody ever lie to you and say, oh, it's better. I mean, yeah, it's a lot better.
It's better.
But
it's
if
still
you want to talk
stigma.
about the stuff that we be hearing in the club and we be hearing with the side notes with the girls and all that type of stuff, people are still very nasty about that to people who are sick. And people who are positive and people who are going through those things and, oh, girl, she on the meds and all that type of stuff.
And you don't want to be the person that the people look at you like they have to quarantine you. People are ignorant, okay? People will say dumb things. People will say hurtful things, and you just don't want to deal with that. And then I know there's some people who don't tell, like, your families or whatever because you don't want them to worry about you. People feel like, oh, I can't tell them because it's going to make them stress and add more stress to their lives. Like, you don't know what somebody, you know, is dealing with when they're dealing with some kind of issue as heavy as this one. But you can't put that on yourself. You can't weigh that all over yourself.
It's not your fight. It was his fight.
It was his.
That was his fight, and he chose to, I'm sorry to say it, but he gave up. Girl, the moment you're told something like that, that is not the end of the world. It's not. Not anymore.
It means you have to change,
change your lifestyle up. You need to really pay attention. You need to put yourself on a schedule. You need to start focusing on being healthy and bringing yourself back up. I know many people now who are HIV positive who are living undetectable because they are doing everything that they were told to do to stay alive, to keep alive, and they are in healthy relationships. I'm the one single, B. Okay? Like, come on now. So for you, I get why you're upset. I get why you're angry. That's your boy. You've known him. You're an advocate for LGBTQ+. You're there for the people. You're there for your friends. That's your family. I get it. But that's not your fight.
You can't be angry.
Do not hold that for yourself, mama.
Just be, happy that
you got to spend the time that you did with him, and it was good times for the most. Whatever times you had that were great. You hold on to that. And honey, if you need more closure, get out to LA where he's buried. and you leave some roses, some flowers, something real nice
and
there.
you sit there and talk to him.
And have a moment. Have a moment. I mean, do that in prayer if you need to. But don't you hold on to that love. Don't do that.
Don't be stuck, because as you said,
he wouldn't want that for you anyway.
A lot of things as far as loss is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she just feel like just because he gave up, she's like, why would you give up? It's his, like you said, like man said, it's his fight. You can't.
That was
it's
him.
his decision.
When he then involved you, that's different. Then it becomes still his fight, but now you are on the sidelines with him. You weren't even in the building.
He didn't want to have anybody else deal with that but him. So,
and he wasn't trying to help his situation, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's
another
the
person
only
who
part
thinks that they could just go away. And
where that's where as I was reading it, I'm like, okay, I know it sucks. I know you don't want to tell anybody, but you still have a responsibility for yourself and your own life. Okay, this is my circumstance. Luckily, due to modern medicine, we can handle this without interfering, much in my lifestyle. But the fact that it must have been just something mentally, like, I don't want to deal with this. I don't want to talk about it.
I'm just going to be and let it happen, and whatever happens, happens. And it's like, okay. But hang in there, mama. Don't ever hold on to stuff like that. There have been many friends of mine who have died of that disease who did not tell me that they were sick because they were too ashamed to tell anybody. And guess what, girl? All that happened after that was speculation at their funerals. And what do you think it was? What do you think it was this? It was all of that. And that is not what we should be remembering about that person. We should be remembering them for the good times that we had with them and just be glad we got to spend some time with them. And I know it's sad, but hang in there, baby. Now, I know that was about the last of it here, but there are two things I wanted to bring up so that way we can make this video not just a 25-minute video. The first one is Bill Cosby was finally convicted and is facing time in prison. Now, some people were saying... Now, where is this going? Not into a bowl of Jell-O.
There's people who say, I stand.
No, there's people who stand with Bill Cosby still, and there's people who are like, are you kidding me? There are also other people who are comparing the situation to current people in the White House, and also celebrities who are Caucasian, who have, not been given the same treatment as Bill Cosby, and they're saying it's a thing of color. Some people are also putting it to the fact that the man was going to buy CBS, and that this was a ploy to get him out of that race and running. What do you think, Jamar, of the situation? Do you think Bill Cosby got what he deserves? At the same time, do you think it's not fair that there's certain people who are not getting their just desserts as well, who've done the same thing? And why is it that people's argument for this is, well, he drugged them, though. But it's like, but rape is rape. Right? I'm confused. So if you drug them, it's even worse than you just raping someone? What do you say to the women who were raped, or the men as well who were raped, that weren't drugged but were simply raped and overpowered in that situation? And then that person then walks away and says, well, girl.
It's a horrible situation. I do think that in some cases it does have a lot to do with race, but it also has a lot to do with power. People will not turn people in who are in certain positions of power, because if they turn them in, they say, well, this could potentially jeopardize my way of life. This could put my loved ones in danger.
Just say my money. Just say my money.
Like, if I do this, then somebody will harm my children.
It's my money.
It's
your money. Not even it's your money. Your coin.
most probably involved by money and coin.
Children, yeah, but your money. Your money.
The fact that, like you said, that person who is in office is walking free, and his stuff just gets on and on and on. The list just keeps coming.
They were like,
coming.
but he didn't rape her technically, though. It was something else. I'm like, but that's not the point. Okay, the point is, he did something wrong. There are things that are being brought up that he did wrong, and yet he's in office. But then when Bill did it, while he was in office, crucified the man. And then there's another topic I wanted to bring up with you as well. We'll do it in a second here. But my whole thing is, someone goes and had the nerve to say, y'all need to stop putting these people on pedestals like they're like false prophets or gods. And I'm like, who put Bill Cosby on a pedestal to even say that? I said, that sounds a little triggerable on your offense to you believing that. Because no one ever put them on that level. What we were all enamored by was Dr. Heathcliff Huxtable, not Bill Cosby. Miss Dr. Huxtable and the Huxtables and the Cosby Show was what we were interested in. Not Bill, necessarily. Bill was doing a lot of stuff for the black community, yes.
Absolutely.
He was doing a lot of stuff for black HBCU universities. Absolutely. He was there. That man was doing a lot.
All kind of honorary degrees.
So, he's done a lot of good, but I'm not going to take away from what he's done. And I do think that he deserves something against him for the things that he did. And I don't think that anybody should be given these moments of, well, he's this guy and he's done all of that, so don't put him in that category.
These victims who have been horrified.
You got someone like George Zimmerman who's still walking around free as a bird after he killed Trayvon Martin with malice and intent.
Blood.
They had recordings of him saying racially motivated things, like all this type of stuff, but they still let him go free. That is stuff you need to be worried about. That right there is where I'm still bothered and pissed about.
Let wrong be wrong. Let those who are wrong suffer. Like y'all like we're crucifying R. Kelly right now with Mute R. Kelly for the horrible stuff that he did. Let's do that across the board.
But hold on now, but they weren't really getting him together that way after we found out he was urinating on minors. We didn't do that. Remember, Trapped in the Closet came out after that happened. And they were still playing his stuff.
It
I
took
stopped
us
listening
a long
to
time to let it go.
I take that back. There are certain tracks that I have to listen to when there's things going down in the bedroom. But other than that, bodies calling. Oh my God.
Bumping Grind.
Oh no, that's too easy. But it's the other one. That and then you remind me of a thing. I wanna ride it, something like my car. I wanna ride. See how that happened?
See, music.
It's hard. Like, Azalea Banks is a good example. She says
so many
things.
So
many things she says that are just out of pocket. But girl can drop something and just make you just want to, like, dance and spit her gibberish rap with her. Yeah, do all of that, you know. Because she be just talking about tic-tac-toe, pilly-pocket, like, that's how she raps. Like, ABC, 1, 2, 3, da-da-da. Like, but it flows, it's still good. It's still good.
Flows.
Yeah.
Do you think the same applies to these Kanye West comments?
That was going to be my next topic.
Okay. Well, girl.
So staying in that same realm of celebrities and things that they do and say and holding people accountable, Kanye West had the gall and the audacity to say that 400 years of slavery was a choice. And the issue we're having with this is that people are saying that some folks misinterpreted his words and were saying it was mental slavery for 400 years. That's not what he said, though, y'all. That's not what he said. You can't just go and say something and then get on Twitter and then say, that's not what I meant, though. But when you were on camera, though, you said it that way. And shout out to Van Jones, I believe that's his name, who works at TMZ, got him together. That wasn't a read. That wasn't shade. It was truth. Facts are facts. It was all of that. We are disappointed in him. I'm so disappointed in Kanye. I don't want the new Kanye. I want the old Kanye. But now I don't want the old Kanye at all. I don't want none of it. I don't want no ham, no cheese, no bread, no spam. I don't want none of it.
So, as I was actually doing my makeup earlier, I was listening to Charlamagne the God's podcast where he talked about the interview that he did with Kanye West in relation to this very topic. Mm-hmm. And he says that Kanye West is the kind of man who doesn't react well in environments where there's a whole lot of people around and he's being asked these questions. Because the Kanye that he interviewed one-on-one gave more context. It wasn't a good interview. He gave more context from what that statement was one-on-one with Charlamagne than he did at TMZ. And even the guy called in and said, because they met up afterwards, and he said that, you know, it's because of this environment, and he said that Kanye is just one of those people who doesn't do well with people. Kanye's very special, and you can kind of tell that. But it was just a case of he's trying to sell it. He did say the wrong words, but Kanye, you have to understand that words mean things. You have a platform that's far too large to just be carelessly throwing things out there, because
An excuse is an
Like-
excuse. I don't care if he has too many people and he just says, "Oh,
I mean,
that's bull." That's
It's
bull.
girl.
You said what you said, and you meant what you said. You didn't apologize for what you said, so you clearly meant what you said.
And it's not even the first.
And then you
I
try
just feel
explaining yourself. And then every time someone backs you up, you didn't show screenshots of you being on the phone with them.
That's very strange.
That he is so extra. And then he said Obama didn't do nothing while he was in office on top of that. And Trump is a real dude and da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, that man doesn't care for us. Never did, never shall, never will.
Like, how did we go from George Bush don't care about black people to make America great again? How do we get here?
It's sad. I think that his comments were very problematic. I think that, again, he has put himself into a privileged position that he himself doesn't really even recognize that he's in.
He's mentally ill.
I think he needs help. And I think he needs to stay away from all things social media, and he needs to stay away from stuff.
And you know what?
Just don't come.
I think it's ever since his mom passed away in 2009.
It's never been the same.
Never been the same.
Never been the same.
He said he's going to put the picture of the doctor who let his mom die as his album cover, as a way to sort of use forgiveness and get over the situation.
That's not it. That
is so unhealthy.
So not even how you forgive. So what the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking about? He said I'm gonna get lipo so that y'all won't make fun of me like they do Rob. What? No.
I do want. I just want Kanye to get. I don't even know what to.
I'm over it. I've honestly removed all his music from my libraries. I
didn't have much of it.
I was never a purchaser of Yeezys. I thought they were overpriced for the basic look. I never wanted to look like a homeless person.
The t-shirt that looked like a cast member on The Walking Dead.
Right. I don't want to look like a homeless person, so I never bought his clothes. And
for $200 for a tank top.
Like, that was tattered up and was not of the quality.
I could get a pack from Walmart and do it myself for $3.
I was like, okay. And then this whole thing where he's like, black people don't support black people. Boy, you better stop, because let's not start with that black people supporting black people mess right now. Let's not go there.
When we want to support, like, Black Panther is still one of the biggest grossing movies because we went out and supported it. If we want to support something, we can do it.
We can do it, but it has to involve all of us. It can't be just... And it's a long story, y'all. But just so you're clear, we're disappointed in Kanye. And I'm not for it. And I hashtagged it if slavery was a choice on my Twitter account. I made a meme about it. You can go see it. It was great. But yeah, boo, Wendy. Boo, Wendy Testerberger. Boo. Yeah, pretty much.
Bless you. And I think being around all them Kardashians just made his brain cells.
You think that's what it is? And that was another argument, too. Why are you bringing the Kardashians into it? I'm like, let's look at the track record of black men and the Kardashians. Lamar's a crackhead.
Reggie Bush escaped unscathed.
Oh, but he found a similar version of Kim. Have you seen her?
Oh, I hadn't.
They look almost the same. I was like, girl,
I haven't
stop.
even seen Reggie Bush in forever.
Well, that's because he got out when it was the good get out. You know what I'm saying? I mean, we don't even talk about Chris Humphries no more.
Sure don't. I mean,
I watch basketball.
When they got married, the fact that she had a solo wedding shoot, and the fact that he wasn't even in it, killed me. I was like, "Why? You are a tool. You are a tool."
We could talk about them forever, but let's.
I'd rather not. I'd really rather not.
This wraps up part 2. Hope we got some of your questions answered and things out the way. Remember to send your emails to askmattandmar@gmail.com. If you've noticed that we're wearing the same clothes as we did last week, it's because, like I told you before, this is part 2 of the part 1 for episode 8. So we'll probably have a lot of questions answered for episode 9. But we thank you for joining us.
Absolutely.
Hugs and kisses. Messed it up. One more time. Hugs and kisses, my best love and wishes to you. This is your boy, Matty Rants.
And Jamar84.
See you later, alligator.